Hey YouTube, it's been a long time and I wanted to do an update on what's going on. So schools us have a lot more time to process things and make videos. So I finished my first year of grad school, yeah, and something came up that really made me think. So I applied to a program. It's for minorities. It's a minority scholarship program, and I assume that they included LGBT people in that definition, but I'm not really sure. I got denied the scholarship, and it may or may not have been because I'm transgendered. I did have to write a short essay in terms of what is minority and how getting this scholarship, how would it encourage other minorities like me, blah, 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 blah. So I explained that I was transman and all that stuff. And it really made me wonder if they even think of transgender as being a minority. Because nowhere in the application did it even ask that. I just wanted to know if you were male or female, and it really focused on ethnic background. So yeah, it kind of was discouraging because this is not just an isolated incident, and most of the world thinks of minorities as race, ethnicity, gender, and not sexual orientation and gender identity. And it just kind of made me feel about, I don't know, there's just not a lot of visibility mainstream for trans men. And what representations do we have? We've got three of them. We've got Pregnant Man, we have Buck Angel, and Chaz Bono. And, it in no way does that reflect the diversity of the community. And personally, I don't want Pregnant Man or Buck Angel representing me. No, thank you. And so part of not wanting to be visible is being associated with those people. And I know I'm not alone in that. So it's really it's frustrating because on one level, more visibility would definitely, I think, create more equality. Yet, in coming out, I mean, even just in the paperwork I had to fill out, it was difficult because, more than, I'd say probably like half a dozen people looked over my papers, and there's always the issue of my fucking undergraduate college who refuses to change my name on my transcripts, so I always have to deal with that. So I'm always having to disclose anytime there's some kind of, in some kind of academic setting, applying to a university or whatnot. Even in some jobs, I want to see transcripts. But I don't know. That coupled with the fact that LA Trans Pride just happened, and Buck Angel was the guest speaker. And I'm not particularly a Buck Angel fan. I know that within the community that people have mixed feelings about him. That's fine if he wants to make porn. That's cool, and he markets himself as a man with a pussy, a vagina, whatever. That's fine. But now he wants to do advocacy, and I just don't feel that that's appropriate. I don't really want that person representing the trans community. So, and I don't know. I don't think Buck Angel is really all about the community. I think it's just about trying to make a buck. But once again, there's just burden on the rest of us who are just kind of like normal, everyday guys who just want to live their lives, but run into these barriers. And it's kind of put upon us to decide if we're going to live out or not. And, frankly, I don't really want to. Because I feel like there's more to me and my life than being transgendered. It's a small part of who I am. But every once in a while, it seems like it becomes a very, important issue. And so part of me was thinking about, how different my life experience would be if I were to be more out. And I was like, well, how would I even do that? There's really not a place and time to do that. It doesn't like work in well to a conversation. And yeah, so what it comes down to is I don't really want to. It's no one's business, that kind of thing. So I don't know. It's just I'm left feeling just not really satisfied with the status quo, that we have very few representation of what a trans man is, and two of the three are just not really. Chesbone, I don't really know. I mean, at least he seems somewhat more of a digestible representation to mainstream. But for the other two, it just doesn't really seem like that's gonna. It's just not good. It's a joke. Like pregnant man, a man with a pussy. That doesn't really. I don't feel that really forwards our cause any at all, whatsoever. But everyone has their own agenda, so maybe that's part of someone else's agenda. So in applying to this minority scholarship, I put myself out there, and I felt really, really vulnerable because I feel like in some ways that I am not protected, especially in a very urban setting. It's really, I would say it's not a progressive or liberal college, and it serves mostly ethnic minorities. So typically ethnic minorities aren't very liberal or progressive, so to speak. I mean, I'm making broad, sweeping generalizations, but if there's no like vegetarian options in the cafeteria, you kind of wonder about other things, like if they aren't even aware of like just trends in nutrition and stuff, how really could they be aware? And I talked to a couple of professors, and they said, yeah, definitely that campus is not very progressive. So I'm like, now do I have to gain support from some of the professors that represent like the LGBT? It's like a little mini LGBT center at the college, and I didn't really want to make a fuss, but I do feel like it's important that transgender, that LGBT people are considered as part of a minority. So I don't know how that will pan out. I'm still kind of inquiring, getting some support to see if we can get some feedback as to what is the definition of minority for that. I don't know. So in some ways I feel like a bit of a hypocrite because I don't want to be out, but at the same time I want to have access to this minority program. But then I feel like, it's nobody's business. And those people that apply to the minority program, I don't know what their minority, like, I don't know if it's because they're female or because they have like 1/4 African American in them. I don't know. So you can't really assume anything by the way people look. Yeah, that kind of pissed me off. So that's what's going on. Yeah, Buck Angel's like been the biggest topic lately, in just like in my circle of friends, because he was at Trans Pride, and because he's trying to represent the community. And I don't know, there's a lot of talk about is that cool or not, but tell me what you think. That's it.